Good. We'll call a meeting to order at 4:04 on December 28th, right?
Nope.
29th.
See,
Ninth.
I knew. It's
29th.
29th. All right. We'll go one day longer. We'll do the roll call. This meeting, by the way, is being conducted remotely because, not remotely, by Zoom because of COVID concerns. And that's just the way it is. So the roll call, Lori Fairbay, Kate Bliss,
Here.
Karen Schultz. Karen?
Can you hear me? I'm
Karen?
here.
Oh, good. It's a roll
Hear me?
call. Now I do.
Okay, I'm here.
Wes Durant. Wes Durant.
Muted.
Rachel Boyer.
I'm here.
Pat Wheeler. Bob Blair here. And Victoria Flynn is here. Margaret Nardowitz is with us. Yes or no?
It's coming.
Coming. All right. So we got a few absent and a few here, and we have enough for a quorum. So let's pass all the good stuff and give ourselves all a raise and all that stuff before everybody else gets here. Vote to accept the minutes from the Council on Aging meeting of 11/24.
I did send them this morning. I'm sorry. I just,
Okay, I do have one correction.
oh, okay.
The COA director is Victoria Flynn, not Lynn.
Oh,
I was-
did I,
I was-
a typo?
I was wondering who Victoria Lynn, I was waiting for the last name, Victoria Lynn, who?
That's it? That was the only mistake I made?
Well, there are a couple of typos, but who's going to fuss? You know, it's a letter here, a letter there. I think we'll survive.
I can fix it and resend it if you'd like.
Do we have a motion to accept the minutes as,
So moved.
I'll make a
Good.
motion.
do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Lori
Aye.
Fairbay? Kate Bliss?
Aye.
Karen Schultz?
Aye.
Wes Durant?
Aye.
That wasn't Wes Durant. You don't fool me. I know his voice. Who did we miss here? Wes Durant, Rachel Boyer,
Aye.
Pat Wheeler, Pat, Bob Blair, aye. So the ayes have it. Financial updates, donations, wages, part-time wages, director and expenses.
All
Victoria,
right, guys, here we go. Expenses since last meeting at this point is $49.71 for gas. Part-time wages are $982.13. Director wages are $21.98 even. And I have good news. In donations, we are at $1,020.
cool.
We got a $1,000 donation.
I almost think I know who that was.
So I'm not gonna say name for anonymity's sake.
I know, HIPAA rules, or no,
Oh,
TIPA rules, because he was giving us a
But
TIPA.
we did get two donations. So, hey,
I did have one call from somebody who was very pleased to get the call on the senior calls. Then he asked what the COA is and what it's doing. So I told him that, and he said, where do I go to make a contribution? So I don't know if that was the same person, but he sounded like a very nice person. Anyway, we will not delve further into whether it was male, female, or all of the above. But that's nice, $1,000, wow, incredible. End of the year recap, COA meal distributions, which are going on as we speak.
yep. So a bulk of the meals went out yesterday with Village Cafe and Pizza. General Store is doing their additions today. We are at about between 164 and 170 meals total.
Cool.
So we're doing pretty good. General Store also made baggies of staples like pasta, soups, pasta sauce, things of that too, that were delivered to every household that also got a meal as well, just as a little kind of, addition. So at this point, we've got 2 of the invoices in, but they're, may need some tweaking. So right now, we are looking at about $2,300 is total for this at this point. Margaret sent out an email a little while ago that there may be a potential for us to continue using the funds past the new year, past the, this year ending. So we are basically going to have to kind of wait and see. But it might be nice if we can use these funds again for a very similar, meal distribution. We could do it and then we could plan it out and go from there. So I'm happy. I don't know about you guys, but I think I'm glad that it got to so many people. So many meals got out.
I ordered one for us only to see what was being delivered, and it was very nice. Ours came from the general store, and they did one of each of the 2 kinds of meals they were doing. Although I thought they were doing chop suey or something, and I didn't see chop suey, but I did see a vegetarian lasagna. And you're right, there was a bag, and it had pasta, and it had pasta sauce, and it had a can of chicken noodle soup. Just the thing everybody needs for cold weather. But that was an interesting bonus on it. I don't know what the Village Cafe did. I think theirs was more than just pizza or
They
meatloaf.
did pizza, they did meatloaf, and then they did a fish.
They did tilapia.
Yep.
Did they do additional baggie with that too, or is it?
So we ordered enough bags to cover both. So General Store actually dropped off bags to Village Cafe for me yesterday before they went out. So they did, so everybody got the same bag.
Oh, super. Yeah, that was a nice touch. That was a very, very good program. Unfortunately, I think next time around it won't be in conjunction with another reach out call, which is how a lot of these were generated. Although you, Victoria, did a ton of calling, I think, to people ahead of time, because a lot of people we asked said, no, they'd already heard from you and already signed up.
Yeah, so we can definitely plan a little bit in terms of doing this again if we're able to use the funding going forward. So we can get the word out there in different ways. But echoing what Bob's saying, I'm hearing nothing but good feedback at this point between like Facebook, emails, phone messages, the Berlin I think it's the Berlin Direct or the Berlin Connect, that other online source. So but yeah, we're hearing nothing but good things. So yay.
Woohoo! Good
Great.
job. Good job. The I would say the only glitchy part is that not all of the names were turned in as early as they should have been, and it made a little fussing around at the end that didn't really need to happen. So if we can just get people to get the stuff in on time, then the list doesn't have to be fooled with, and that's more better.
Yep.
Capital budget request.
So earlier in the year, we did do a capital budget request. It was just to talk, we had to do a request just to see if there's any fiscal years in the future that we may require any additional funding. At this point, the only capital budget potential would just to be if the town feels like we would benefit from having a senior center, and just how would we go about doing that. So we haven't technically requested any funding. It's just more to kind of put it on their radar. So what I would suggest doing is maybe, after the new year, we just start getting some surveys out there again. Can even be something tied to Powder House News, where we just ask people, in a post-COVID, is this something that you'd be interested in? What would you like? And just kind of go from there. We're not committed to anything. It's just a way to just get it out there.
And of course, the first expense would end up being feasibility study costs or design costs before they'd even get in. And then that would have to go before the town meeting, and then they'd have to appropriate funds after the design was ready.
Yep. So that, and again, if it gets to the point where the town doesn't feel like it's needed, then okay, so be it, that's okay. But if enough people feel like it's a good idea, then we can definitely proceed forward, as Bob mentions, with different feasibility plans.
No. You said, is this a different item, fiscal year 22 budget request?
Yes, so this is separate. So I can actually show this to you guys. I can actually share my screen. All right, yep, okay. So this is our, basically, it's the 2021 budget request, but we're doing it, again, for the fiscal year 22, it wound up just being the same thing. Because for this upcoming fiscal year, we had to request level funding. So basically, these amounts are the same. Minus my wage adjustments, which would be factored in after the point, because I believe my wages had a change before I started. So there may be like some additional funds coming into it, but the town, I guess, approved it. So minus that, these numbers are pretty much where we're going to be. There's not going to be any wiggle room because the town has asked us to just do level funding for next year. So it is what it is. Not much we can do about that. So what we'll do is we'll just go from there. If things change, I will let you guys know, but at this point, it's just kind of where we're at. I have to go before the finance committee at the end of January just to talk to them about what our budget is and just get formal, make sure that they all get formally approved before the new fiscal year hits.
The difference in your pay was that they changed your pay grade. Is that not
Yes,
correct?
I believe
Yeah.
so. So
Okay.
that's really it. But otherwise, that's kind of where we're at.
All right. Any questions on that? Questions, comments? Brilliant ideas? No? We'll move along to item 5, which is mandated reporter protocol.
Yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to forward this over to you all just to see what you all think of it. We had mentioned it at the last meeting about when Chief Galvin was here, just about basically what we need to do if, we get to a situation where we do need to do like a wellness check or something like that. So what I've been doing is I've been working on protocol. Oh, hi, Pat. We've been working on protocol just of what we need to do procedurally.
Hi,
So-
how are you?
Hi,
I'm sorry I'm late.
no worries.
No demerits. You still get dessert.
So I will get that over to you guys just so we can formally approve it and have it just be part of our new, just our new protocol and procedures. Like I said, I don't suspect that we're going to need to do this often, but just for our liability and just for safety's sake, we just need to have something on record.
That's a skosh tricky, I would say, because like we go do this when we have the actual phone number, we do these and half the people we call don't answer. And then we leave a message, please call back, and they don't call back. So, I mean, if you were super diligent, I suppose you'd have a wellness check on all of them because they didn't call back and you called them and there's no response.
Well, see, the thing about a wellness check is that there needs to be imminent concern or a question of imminent concern. So if we were to call and leave somebody a message and they didn't respond, yes, you could make that argument, but at the same point too, an argument could just be made that they're not home or they're not available versus like if somebody comes and calls you, and I'll use Bob as an example, and says, you're like, I'm really concerned about my neighbor Bob. He was acting, bizarre or something like that. That's something that we would need to investigate and get a wellness check in. Or, like Bob's mail's piling up and he hasn't been home in a few weeks and I haven't seen him and I don't know what's going on.
You just froze. What happened? Anybody else there?
I'm here.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Or it just looks like Victoria that's frozen.
Just Victoria.
Must be a window open in the basement at the town offices in Virginia, and
So
Victoria's freezing.
He's been frozen since talking about your bizarre behavior.
Well, that wouldn't generate any alarms.
Really
in
made me laugh at an inappropriate time.
That wouldn't generate any alarms in anyone's mind. I'm always bizarre, so what can we say?
You got that plant right in your eye.
I know that's on purpose. How's that? How's that?
Oh, that's good.
Well, is Victoria back? No.
Nope, not back.
Is Wes Durant on now?
I'm here.
You
Yes.
are.
I don't see his picture.
You
He's
weren't
on the
at the
phone.
outset.
Well, let's see. I got to put my camera on, I guess.
Yeah, come on. Let's get with the Cecil B. DeMille
Hi.
activity there.
Oh, now
Now
there
you're
she
back.
is.
Well,
Back.
I literally got kicked out and had to come back in.
Rose.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. So,
Those people at the town offices can be inhospitable, and they might throw you out just when you weren't expecting. Go ahead.
yeah, so basically what we'll do is we can, I can certainly answer any specific questions. I am going to be just sending out a mailer to those who we didn't either hear back from or we didn't have a phone number to, just to say, hi, we're the council, we're doing these, these calls just to check in and see how people are doing. Please let us know if you need anything. And at least that way we would have tried. And if somebody still doesn't respond, then so be it. I can't make them. But it also kind of covers us too. So in case, again, if something does happen, we can say, we've tried to reach out. We didn't have a phone number for them. We've even sent this letter out. We had no response.
You're sending the letter to all of the people who on our list did not have phone numbers indicated?
Or who didn't, or had like a number disconnected, or who,
Yeah,
again, we could even do something, if you guys want, I can even do for people who we never heard back from. That's up to you.
wow. You
don't
should
think
have
it's-
you should have some help putting out all those letters. That's all.
It's not that big of a deal. I mean, I was highlighting earlier, just kind of the numbers. I mean, it is a lot, but the letter's already typed out. It's just basically addressing.
Stuff in envelopes.
It's just like the same thing with the Powder House News is once you get in the routine of it, it goes.
How often
Okay,
does the
but if you-
town update the list of people? Because I just noticed, where I did the calls earlier in the year, a lot of the same names were on there having moved out of state. Is it just they don't get to update that frequently? A lot of people were Hudson or a couple.
I don't know if this list is from like the beginning of the year with the census. That's part of what I'm wondering. Or I believe people I think may have to notify, I think the clerk's office may have to be notified if somebody's moving out of town as well, or if they have new contact information. I suspect that after next year's census, we probably will have a different list.
Yeah, hopefully. I spent actually a long time, well, you already know it's a long time because I thought I'd have it out to you in June of 1948. But there's a lot of information that was not available. And I think I've got the last of the people who have passed away for the Powder House News. And in order to get that, I was also going through the list and noting that on the list as so-and-so's deceased and so forth. But yeah, that stuff needs continuous updating. What I was hoping is that if we process the lists appropriately and get some more phone numbers and put those on, will actually help the clerk's office update their records as well.
Right.
And I think I told you also that somebody really read me off on getting her phone number because I'm on the board at Northbrook 1. So I got the phone numbers of people there. And this person was all bent out of shape because I had the nerve to get her phone number. And I said, I'm not getting it to sell you siding or timeshares. I'm getting it to ask you if you mind if we list it. Oh, it's already done. You got it. So some people are pretty protective. Hopefully not too many. All right, so mandated reporter protocol. Van service is needed again.
So we had a van service scheduled and it was the same day as the big snowstorm. So we had to cancel it. So it's going in Thursday. The check engine light came back on. I think I don't know what's going on with it. It's completely covered, but yeah.
It's, and they're not giving any feedback as to why the thing keeps doing this?
No, the gentleman, when I booked the appointment, said it may be a few hours. So he said that, he's like, are you going to use this immediately afterwards? And I said, well, if it's going to be something that's going to take a while, then, I can put that on that service, schedule it so we don't have anything else going on that day. But yeah, he's like, expect it to be a few hours. So
Ugh. And where is the thing get serviced?
Colonial Ford in Marlboro,
Marlboro, okay.
because it's the closest Ford dealership.
Wow. You wouldn't think that we'd be getting all this grief with a vehicle that's essentially brand new.
I don't know. I mean, I know sometimes my car gets fussy, like when the temperature changes. I don't know, like, I'm not sure what it is, to be quite honest with you, but it just like the lights keep coming on. Cause I've even asked for like detail. I'm like, is it coming on like when after like it's been warmed up and driving, or does it come on as soon as you turn on the car and then it just doesn't go away? And latest reports is that it just stays on and does not go away.
Wow. When that happens, I usually go out and give a good kick to the left front tire and everything's better. But that probably won't work in this case.
It might kick
Um,
back.
About your old truck, Bob, that's different.
Oh, okay. Well, you should check engine light going out. Yoga is the next item.
So we're doing Zoom yoga, guys. Going well, actually. It's been on Saturday mornings. I've been opening the Zoom link, and we're averaging like 3 to 5 people, which is kind of like a normal class. Sharon's doing a great job with it. She's coming here to the activity room just because she's got more room to spread out, and she can position her, computer so people can see her, but it's just like a Zoom meeting like this, and it's been going well. We have it booked out through the end of the fiscal year, so end of June. Hopefully we can start meeting again before that, but just in case we can't, we have the link.
They have some pretty twitchy news about this COVID vaccine. Everybody seems to assume that they're going to get their 2 shots and then off go the masks and you're back to the cool zone again. But I've read that that's not the case, that it's going to be a
That's not
long
the case.
time. Yeah,
Not the
you have to
case.
get 70 to 80% of the population inoculated, and even then you have to be careful that there's not transmission going on.
I think the masks, you're gonna see the masks for another year.
That's what I was told today.
Exactly,
Yep.
exactly.
People will have aged so much in the meantime, you won't know them once they take the mask off.
Mhm.
No fair. All right. Email Brittany to see if videos can get to YouTube and Facebook.
Yep, I'm on it. So I have been going back and forth with Brittany. We're just I'm trying to get a few of the yogas recorded, and then we'll get them up so people can look at them and refer to them, which will be nice.
My impression is that Brittany is a super asset. She's really nice to work with and is really eager to put more stuff up that's of interest and help to people.
Yep.
She had mentioned, because we did at Veterans Day, the interview with Ron Plotnicki, which she just did a masterful job on, but she said she'd like to do that with more vets. I mean, it doesn't have to be just vets, but do that with more vets. I was so sorry to see that Wilfred Beauregard passed away, because he was a World War II vet and flew in bombers and over Europe. And just the infinitesimal little conversations I had delivering Meals on Wheels to him, he seemed like he was eager to talk about it, which breaks my heart that I can't have him do that now. Anyway, so that's an option. And some of you may have ideas for other interviews we could do with seniors who have interesting stories to tell, interesting recollections or pasts that you may not have any notion about that are extremely interesting.
I'm open to anything at this point, so.
Yeah, I'd love to work with Brittany on that, on anything of that sort. Durable medical equipment updates.
So we've gotten some equipment back that has been lent out to us. So I'll share my screen again so you guys can see it. Hold on. So we do, I have updated pretty much the Google Sheets that we have. So here's really what we have. You know, just kind of detailing just detailing really what we have and what's available. So it's really open, first come, first serve. You know, we've had some people ask, like, you know, if my loved one passes or my loved one doesn't need it anymore, can we return it? And I've said, yeah, absolutely. So we've got quite a array right now. So, but I've gotten, again, nothing but positive feedback from people on that. So.
Great. Do you have any issues with stuff that still needs to be cleaned?
We have the basically powerful sprayer, that disinfecting sprayer. So about like once every few weeks, I spray everything down just to kill whatever germs are on it. And then if somebody's going to be requesting a specific piece of equipment, I will take a disinfectant wipe with gloves and I will, you know, wipe it down thoroughly before anybody ever touches it.
I was going to say that might be a more time-saving
Yeah.
thing, is to clean it up, super clean it before it goes out. Instead
I
of doing all
just
of
do
it.
the disinfecting anyway because I'm, you know, I am cautious. I've had a couple people call, and then, you know, with the snow and ice, they were too afraid to go out. So I just delivered a couple things like on my way home. I didn't care. So I've told a few people too, if somebody needs something and they're just afraid to drive, I mean, I don't care. I'll do it.
I
So,
think, speaking of Wilfred Beauregard, his family called to say that they wanted to return some of the equipment he'd borrowed.
Yep, they already did.
Oh, they did? Okay, I was going to ask if you needed it picked up. That's good.
They're
Super
very
nice guy.
sweet. They're a very sweet family.
Yeah, yeah, and he was a real gem.
Are there
Information
only
session.
certain days? There's only certain days that you're there that they can pick up the equipment. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm here Tuesday, Thursdays, and half day Fridays. But if there's something that I know about ahead of time, I can always ask Margaret if, like, I can put something aside and just give Margaret a heads up and say, listen, like, so-and-so's coming Monday at 2, you know, here you go. I can always like leave stuff, you know, ahead of time, just knowing that people are going to come.
That was me last week that emailed you. I don't know if you knew that.
Yes, I saw.
Okay, you did know that was me. Okay.
I'm perfectly happy to pick stuff up if people are not able to bring it. So just give a shout, even if it's not Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday. I know I have a basic understanding of where the space is, and I'll bring it
Yeah,
there.
it's at this point, it's more when people want to pick up, I get more concerned about versus when they want to drop off. Because I mean, we can accept a drop off pretty much anytime. I just like to be here just because I want to see what it looks like. But I mean, we've had times too where, I mean, I've had other department heads come up to me and be like, yeah, we accepted this for you. And it's, you know, downstairs. It's like, it looked okay. So we took it for you. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So, well, we make it work.
Okay, anyway, the offer's there if stuff needs to be picked
Perfect.
up.
That-
All right,
that
guys.
was I'm curious if did the person come by to get the stuff I had asked for? Do you even know?
I don't
No?
believe so.
Okay,
Not yet. I don't believe so.
not yet.
Okay, what's the word on the lasagna lovers?
I reached out to Emily pre-Christmas just to see if they were interested in doing a Zoom meeting, and I hadn't heard back yet, so I was going to email her again next week. But I had talked to her, and I had talked to a couple other organizations as well, like the Carroll Center for the Blind, and there's a local like palliative care agency that I had spoken with as well, just to get some information out there and just to see if maybe we want to just do some Zoom like interviews with them, just again, get information out there. You know, we can certainly, if you, again, you know, kind of going off of what Bob had said earlier with vets or other, you know, Berliners, if there were people that you wanted us to speak with, I'm more than happy to reach out to them and coordinate something. Might be nice to just have, you know, something a little different going about. So.
Zoom meeting held with Healing Garden Support Center.
Yes, they're actually, I believe they're out towards like the Harvard area. So, but they do really good work. They basically help people who may have a loved one who's got like a cancer diagnosis, and then they work a lot with like a palliative or a hospice team as well. So they're a really good group.
Hmm. Is that similar to the Rose Monahan Hospice in Worcester?
Rose Moynihan itself is like a hospice house where that's more for
Right.
like people who are like very, very like close to passing.
Right.
So they would be, the healing garden is more like very, very early stages.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm. So say again, how we might connect with them, or are we interested in connecting with them?
Just, is there anybody that you guys want me to try to reach out to do like a Zoom meeting? Or is there any like organizations or any, persons in general that you guys would want us to try to make a contact with, like a Zoom meeting, or, again, just to get some additional information out there to everyone?
Anybody?
Well, Ann Gray called me today and asked what time the meeting was, and I told her. So I don't know what her interest is or anything, but I can follow up with her.
Anne Gray?
Yeah,
Yes, yeah. Oh, hers had to do with the Wes. That had to do with a meal delivery. She was very pleased with the meal, and she just had some observations about the delivery process. I guess the gal who delivered it was very nice, but a little could have had a better plan in mind, I guess, because she was spending a lot of time doing it alphabetically instead of by address over at Northbrook. But it's just, it's just an observation that's actually on the delivery person. If I were delivering, I would have looked down the list and seen, oh, all these people are in building 11. Why don't I deliver them all instead of going,
Back and forth.
yeah, person A at building 11, I'll go down to person name beginning with C at building 6, and then back to 11 for somebody. Anyway, so it wasn't, it was just an observation. Fuel assistance. Anybody express any interest in that?
I've posted some information on Facebook. I'm going to reshare it about what the eligibility is for fuel assistance and basically where to go. Again, if this is something that you would want us to really, hit home on, we can certainly pursue information session or something with fuel assistance. I'm sure this year more than, this year, like many years, fuel assistance is something that I think a lot of people feel like if they don't apply by like November 1st, that they're not eligible, but it goes well into spring.
Yeah.
And, any relief I'm sure would be helpful.
I don't think that was one of the specific areas where we had a phone number that will be appearing in the next Powder House News with that list of phone numbers you can call for various services. But there was at the end of that, the state number 211 that you could call for a whole bunch of things. And I'm sure they would talk with people about fuel assistance if needed. There was, it just jogs my memory, somebody on this last round of calls was concerned about a neighbor who they felt really needed some checking up on health-wise. And I said that I pretty sure that the kind of help they were looking for would come through Montechusett Home Healthcare in terms of service providers, somebody to help with this, that, and the other medical procedure or whatever. So I'm waiting to hear back from her, but Victoria, I will, as soon as I get that info, I'll pass that along to you as well. Oh, actually, I asked her to call you and make sure that you're tuned into it.
Okay.
All right. How-to videos, looking for info for 2021. Have we already
We've discussed that.
been over that? Okay, Powder House News. The next one is, it's at the printers. For some reason, it's taking them 2 weeks again, and I guess we might excuse it on the basis of the holiday interference and schedules.
So just a heads up to you guys in general. I did talk to Barbara Keene a while ago. So whenever we submit in a Powder House News, they told me it can take anywhere between like 7 to 10 days to get it printed, to get it to us. Just depending on their flow and kind of like you were saying, like holidays and stuff like that. So with it, I mean, it was submitted to them right before Christmas Eve. I highly doubt they touched it, before this week.
Right.
So we probably will get it. I would think if not by the end of week, beginning of next week sometime. And then
I
we
got
can
a
get
no-
it out.
I got a note saying you could expect to see it probably about January 5th.
Okay, yeah, that's next week.
All right. I think this next one is going to have some really interesting material in it. The whole first page is information you'd submitted, Victoria, about
Self-care.
self-care. And we'd also started a new feature called Who, What, Where, When, and Why, the 5 W's, and got a couple of nice contributions from June Miller about the Historical Society and one from Doc Westerling about the construction of the dam, the Ross Dam. But going forward, there's lots of other information, and you all are more than welcome to please contribute thoughts as to who we ought to tap for additional information. I know Walter Bickford is a well of information about things conservation wise and also about the town's history, but there are lots of people who have interesting stories and deep knowledge about that. In fact, every time I mosey by Pat Wheeler's house, I get about a PhD education in what the town's residents are and have been, and who married who, and
That's
who
right.
cheated on who. No, we
Well, you don't need to know that.
didn't talk about that part.
Some of us know too much. But it's always nice to converse with different people, and you learn a lot just by listening.
Yep.
It's just amazing. And I never cease, as old as I am, I never cease to learn something new every day.
What do you mean as old as you are? Come
Well,
on.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, let's look at this group here. Other than West Durant, I'm probably the next. But you know what? There's a wealth of knowledge, and it's all with just talking with people and listening.
Yep.
The magic word is to listen.
Yeah, what did somebody say once?
Than you do by talking.
What's that, Wes?
You learn more by listening than you do by talking.
Exactly.
Yeah, somebody once said you don't learn anything while your mouth is open.
That's right.
So ideas for other information to go into the Powder House News. I don't recall what Laurie said the deadline is, but presumably, since this next edition is January, February, it'd be somewhere, the deadline for the March, April would be somewhere toward the
In
middle.
February. I submitted a rough calendar to them for the 2021 newspaper schedule. I'm just waiting to get confirmation back. So as soon as I get confirmation that those dates work for them, I'm going to send it out to you guys.
Good.
And then we'll just assume that, a week prior to each deadline, that'll be the information cutoff. So Lori has time to do what she needs to do.
Good.
Who actually prints the Powder House?
Liturgical Press in Connecticut.
Oh, yeah.
Liturgical Publications, I think it is. There actually are two things. There's a liturgical press, which does what it sounds like. They do mostly religious stuff, and that's not who we're with, but Liturgical Publications, I think, is the name of the outfit that does ours. In the past, it was Clinton Offset, and they did a good job for us, but Holly had signed us up with Liturgical Press because publications, because there is no charge to us for this printing, because they put ads in it that pay for the printing costs, although they've intimated that the revenue from the ads that we currently have in there don't cover the printing costs, and it would behoove us to give them some tips on who else to go-to in town to seek advertising revenue. So if any of you have some inspirations as to who might be good people to turn to put an ad or more than one in the Powder House News, that would be good information to pass along to liturgical. All right, old COA agendas.
We've talked about this at prior meetings, the old agendas that we had that never were formally voted on to be accepted minutes. What we'll do is I'm putting all of them into a Google Drive that I will send out to all of you. And my hope is next meeting, we can vote to you guys accepting the old minutes in their draft form. We don't alter anything, but we would just say that you guys are accepting the drafts because that's really what they are.
All right, sounds like a thing. Is there any other business to discuss? Wait for it, wait for it. Drum roll, no?
It was nice seeing the bios for Rachel and for Bob in the paper. That was a nice surprise. It was a nice like little treat.
Oh, pshaw. Okay, the next meeting is January 26th at 4 p.m. I would entertain a motion to adjourn at this point and wish everyone a very happy new year and
Happy
thank you for
2021, guys.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
You know, yeah.
all right. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second,
We'll take a roll call on adjournment. Lori, are you with us yet? Kate Bliss,
Hi.
Karen Schultz. Karen,
Yes, can you hear me? Bye.
now I do.
Okay.
Wes Durant.
So
Wes,
moved.
so moved, good, oh, well, yes, okay. Rachel Boyer,
Hi.
Pat Wheeler,
have a nice New Year.
thank you. Bob Blair, yes. So if unanimous,